This is a Trap Lord Ross production, so I'm expecting pristine material. Okay, original link to this will be down in the description. 800 Chicago Slimiest Gang. Original link to be down in the description. Without further ado, let's go and get into it. Like goes 1500.
Video contains themes.
We gotta smack the 1500 on the rapping memories. I've been doing it in this motherfucker. You know, I got my little game planning and game planning. This 1500 is imperative on the rapping memories.
Violence, death, and gang activity. This video is an educational documentary.
Game planning, though.
It does not intend to glorify, incite, or encourage illegal behavior. All of the information is taken from public sources and is shown on the basis of fair use. I've made every effort to ensure accuracy of the sources, but I am not responsible for any content third parties have published. Every effort has been made to censor this video in accordance with YouTube's community guidelines, but if you want to see an uncut version of this video, you can do so on patreon.com/traplawross. But if you're not interested in that, just hit the subscribe button and prepare to hear one of the craziest stories ever told. On November the 15th, 2021, 4 men from 2 different Chicago gangs teamed up to pull off an armed robbery on an armored truck, leaving a Bank of America with over $100,000 in it. This was a heist straight out of GTA 5, but things would...
Cause like one of the guys that's how took part of it, he cut off like an ankle monitor or some sorts, and shit, he was just on his crash out day. I can't even look at the camera because that shit sounds crazy as fuck. The nigga was on his crash out day.
Turned deadly very quickly.
Oh! I ain't mean it like that. Hell no, crash out. How I explain it? Man, fuck it. Dude was doing a lot of dumb shit, bro. That's facts.
In the process of robbing the truck, they would kill the driver and wound another person guarding the money, and what would follow would be an unfiltered crime spree, ultimately ending in these 2 gangs double-crossing each other and one side being killed. But as Chicago woke up to the news of this brazen robbery that left 3 people dead, many on internet forums like Reddit, familiar with the Chicago gangs that pulled off this hit, knew exactly who was responsible and were not surprised. Because this was just the latest in a years-long string of incidents associated with a gang called 800, with its prominent members being notorious for robberies, murders, and even alleged shootouts with Reddit users themselves. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at the slimiest, snakiest, most treacherous gang in all of Chicago, 800.
Slimiest, snakiest. I don't know why them adjectives are prominent in the hip-hop community. Like, they kind of get glorified, but them shits are gang. Them are not it. The slimiest and snakiest motherfucker gonna have to keep their eye on you at all times. You a nigga that like to throw the double. You a motherfucker like to throw the double cross. Motherfucker gotta be ready for their triple every time with you. That ain't the way to live. For real.
800 is a gang set made up of maniac Mickey Cobras from around 61st and Cottage Grove in Woodlawn. Lil Fat, a prominent member of 800, would later explain the heritage of the gang in an interview with Truth Teller TV.
Okay, now you just said something I want to pinpoint. You said 800, okay? Exactly where is that at?
61st and Cottage Grove, we MCs.
800 has a long history in Chicago and has previously also gone by several other names like 800YM, 800DMG, Frank Block, and Diddy Grove. This gang is often referred to as the most hated as they allegedly have beef with around 20 different other gang sets. And members of 800 often consider themselves to be EBK, or Everybody Killer, meaning that they beef with more or less any gang that isn't their own, including Gangster Disciples, Black Disciples, Vice Lords, Black Peace Stones, and even other Mickey Cobras. However, despite being EBK, 800 has historically had limited alliances with some other gangs. The set had previously linked up with 051 Young Money, hence the nickname 800YM. However, this would all change when 051 Young Money clicked up with TYMB, a sworn enemy of 800. Hence the gang now hating Young Money too and claiming to be Die Y, as was seen prominently in 800 affiliate Boss Smooth's track 61 Dead Ops. As a result of their hatred towards members from Young Money, 800 members are often seen dropping the Y gang sign upside down as a sign of disrespect to Young Money. Now, 800 carry a savage reputation, even by Southside Chicago standards, with many curious Redditors questioning just how many bodies this gang might be responsible for, with the gang themselves often being referred to by the Reddit community as crash dummies for their wild and dangerous antics, even beating the infamous O Block, 051, 600, and No Limit in a poll by users on the biggest crash outs coming out of the city. 800 literally have beef with gangs that are surrounding their territory from every angle, being only blocks away from 63rd, TYMB, and Mac Creek. 800 has been around for a long time and originally came from the project buildings on Cottage Grove, but their current territory ranges from around 61st to 63rd from Cottage Grove to Drexel. However, over the years, gentrification.
So I'm not already knowing he about to get into why the hell they got beef with everybody that's around them. But how the fuck do niggas even want to live like this? Like, I guess they playing the cards that's dealt with them, but still, the fuck? Everybody? Any given moment, nigga. Any given moment.
Has been prominent in this area, pushing the gang away from their original block. One example of this is the huge dual Osco building that was constructed on 61st and Cottage. This development has actually taken the place of the original project building Diddy Grove that 800 the gang originated from. Therefore nowadays, 800 members are regularly seen around the 61st and Cottage Grove areas, but they do still frequent their old turf in Drexel and the alleys of the Cottage area. Now, Chicago would become familiar with the crew of 800 in the late 2000s, when they would go to war with another local gang set called Dro City. Over the course of this gang war, 800 would take several massive losses in the streets within a short 4-year span, a devastating run that would ultimately inspire the gang to go on an extreme spree of violence of their own, with these violent back and forths gaining 800 a terrifying reputation all over Chicago. 800 took their first notable loss in the streets in 2009 when one of their members by the name of Tommy Williams was killed by a man called Kevo from a rival gang set called Mac Creek. Mac Creek is a gangster disciple set hailing from 62nd and Greenwood University. Now, on April 2nd, 2009, a young 800 affiliate by the name of Tommy would allegedly be standing in a group of around 7 or 8 people when an argument broke out and somebody started shooting. The Chicago Tribune would report a tragic scene as Tommy's grandmother would rush to the scene of the murder, finding the 18-year-old shot at 5 p.m. near East 61st and South Cottage Grove. The police would later reveal that Tommy was indeed a member of the wider Black Peace Stones gang, with 800 the set that we know in the modern day not yet being well established among the authorities at this point.
Fun fact, Denzel Washington is a stone. I've seen it on a video. Yeah, them my niggas, that's what he said.
Y'all blacks on me?
I'm gonna put it in the video, don't you worry about it.
Point in time. Kevo, real name Kevin Watson, was identified as the shooter and later taken to trial and is now serving a whopping 60 years for the murder, with the court even being told how Kevo was a gangster disciple and had apparently killed Tommy for his affiliations to the Peace Stones as part of an ongoing beef in the streets. Unfortunately, these gang wars were deeply entrenched in the local neighborhoods and local schools, and in the years that followed, even more violence would play out, affecting members from 800. 2 years later, 800 would lose a second member named Diddy, who was shot and killed on February the 21st, 2011. Real name Roselle Phillips, Diddy would be shot while sitting in the driver's seat of a parked car in the 6100 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue, close to where Tommy had lost his life too. After Diddy's death, 800 was given several nicknames to honour their friend, including Diddy Grove, Diddy Maniac Gang or DMG, Diddy City, and the Diddy Grove Boys, DGB. He was clearly beloved by the gang and a notable member of the crew. Diddy has even been referenced in lyrics from rappers that hail from this gang, like the track Pyro Style Part 2, where Boss Smooth raps, "You disrespect Diddy and you'll catch 50. Allegedly, Diddy was so beloved by his gang that his death is actually what started 800 as we know it, with the group previously being referred to as Holly Grove or Mickey City. But unfortunately for 800, having lost Tommy and Diddy, just 1 year later, another 800 member would be killed in a horrific home invasion.
Damn, man.
On March the 28th, 2012, Terry Brown.
See all these stories and shit leading up to the shit he led the video with, the Lil Fats. That's the one I remember. But anyway, all that shit, it, you know how sometimes I say it'd be reasons for pretty much everything. All these events that, you know, Trap Lord Ross talking on right now, nigga, that all that shaped the whole how the newer generation even going about doing shit, like who they into it with and all that shit. Some of that shit be new beef, but a lot of that shit just be cemented.
Known on the street as Olad, was shot over 30 times and killed in a triple homicide. ABC 7 News will report that 3 men were found dead at a home in the 6300 block of South Evans. Olad was found in the hallway of the property, while another 29-year-old man was found in the kitchen, and another man in his 30s found on the back porch. This was a brutal murder scene, made even more shocking by the fact that apparently this incident had allegedly all stemmed from a disagreement over a FUBU jacket. Shockingly, the shooter was apparently Olhead's own friend.
That shit ain't even in right now.
A Huffington Post article from 2012 would break down how this gruesome triple homicide had played out, all stemming from this FUBU jacket. And according to a Sun-Times article, Davis had swapped the FUBU jacket for some shirts and pants with Olhead, later changing his mind and demanding the jacket back. This led to Davis turning up to Olhead's apartment and shooting everybody there after one of the occupants tried to shoot back. Davis had previously served 18 years of a 40-year sentence for another murder in 1989. In the end, Curtis Davis would indeed be found guilty of all 3 of these murders and sentenced to life in 2014. But despite justice playing out in the courtroom, 800 members would be devastated by the loss of one of their close affiliates. Boss Smooth from 800 would also tribute Olhead in his song Pyro Style Part 2, where he says, "You disrespect Olhead, you get a swole head, bitch." Following this slew of tragedies, 800 begun getting more and more active in the streets, with stories circulating about the crew having infamous shootouts with people who would go on to become legends in Chicago drill music. In 2013, a beef would break out between members of 800 and a group of gangster disciples from 63rd and St. Lawrence, and Big Mike from 800 would seemingly shoot up one of the most famous members' homes, FBG Duck, with Big Mike taunting Duck on Twitter, claiming that he had done nothing to retaliate after this shooting. 800 Boss Smooth would also join in, taunting FBG Duck and saying that they made him move after shooting up his house. However, these brazen acts would not go unpunished in the streets, and it's alleged that members from St. Lawrence quickly retaliated by shooting Big Mike in his legs, resulting in him being paralysed and having to use a wheelchair to this day. And FBG Duck would even himself reply to Boss Smooth, implying that it was the GDs from St. Lawrence and 63rd that were directly behind paralysing Big Mike. However, Boss Smooth would merch it on Diddy that it was a different set that shot Mike, and one popular rumour is that the shooting was actually carried out by another set called TYMB, who may well have actually been responsible for the paralysing of Big Mike. Regardless, the exact cause of this injury would indeed remain a mystery, and despite having feuds with numerous dangerous street gangs in their area, 800 would continue to dish out violence themselves. 2013 was the year that 800...
I'm saying, why would you tell him that you did it? It makes sense to me. Not one bit. Not one bit. I don't know if he was trying to collect the street points. This is called them street points. I don't know if he was trying to collect the street points off, but do some stupid shit like that. Why would you even say that you did it? If it's 10 motherfuckers in the house, that's 10 to tip the murder. Let me know if I'm wrong. For sure. Shit crazy. Let's keep it going.
800 began their spree of violence, leading to a savage reputation, with everything kicking off after a brutal altercation.
I mean, every picture he's showing of the guy in the wheelchair, he was like an older dude. Like he, 90s baby. So, touching 30 like a fucker, or if not 30. Mine's just, okay. 2012, what? 12 years ago. I'm just thinking about it. Maybe we can conclude it with he was young and dumb. Yeah.
With a member of Mack Creek, the same gang who had killed Tommy in 2009. On September the 9th, 2013, a man named Alan Ross, known in the streets as Fish from Mack Creek, was found laying in a grass patch in Washington Park at 6 a.m. Initially, it was thought he died from a gunshot wound to the back of his head. However, the medical examiner would later determine that he had actually been beaten to death. Redditors have argued that Alan Ross, aka Fish, actually suffered mental disabilities, making this case even more heartbreaking and senseless. Users of the Chicago drill community Chiracology would actually cite this murder as 800's first revenge killing against Mack Creek. One popular rumor is that Fish was actually murdered over a mere $5 debt by an 800 member called Pyro, along with 3 other men. 800 members seemed pretty proud of killing Fish, despite him seemingly not being much of a threat in the streets. Boss Smooth would later rap on his scathing diss track 61 Dead Ops, "We don't do no fighting, end up like Fish." However, the 800 member rumoured to be responsible, Pyro, just 3 years later, in late May 2016, would suffer a brutal ending in scarily similar circumstances to what happened to Fish.
And he passed away.
Pyro, real name Kevin Larry, was in Washington Park, the very same park where Fish was killed, apparently playing dice with members from another gang called MOB when a dispute over a bet heated up. An MOB member by the name of Domo would reportedly shoot Pyro several times, leaving him dead. Now, before this murder, 800 and MOB were apparently on good terms, and Pyro himself had even been pictured with some of their members. No suspects were charged in the following 2 weeks after Pyro's death. However, in a shocking turn of events, MOB Domo would be arrested immediately after holding a press conference, due to the fact that he was seeking $15 million in compensation from the Chicago police after being shot in the back by an officer while running away. A crazy incident which was even caught on camera. And the news would actually report that while Domo was literally waiting for an Uber after his press conference, the police would pull up and arrest him for the murder of Pyro. Really shouldn't have messed with the Chicago police. Domo was later sentenced to 50 years to life in prison for the murder of Pyro. Now, he would later appeal part of his charges with an updated projected parole date of 2066. Prominent member...
I'm saying though, what about he couldn't finish that shit out in jail? You gotta make it to the court dates and shit, huh? He owes some money, cause why the fuck they shoot him? Why the hell they shoot him? Y'all don't think the nigga ain't owed something? If he ain't do nothing wrong, hopefully he'll tell us some more.
But 800 Lil Fats would express his sadness after Domo received his monster sentence, as 800 members likely planned on killing him in retaliation, something which would be made much harder by him doing life in jail. Pyro's murder would cause a major split between the gang's MOB and 800, sparking a war that would later see a notable MOB member's funeral being shot up. But this was far from the only time that 800 had severed their ties with massive gangs in their area. On September the 6th, 2015, 800 members would be involved in an infamous shooting at a block party. Another gang called Jaro City was said to be having a party with another gang called Taekwondo World in 800's territory. So, at around 1 AM, 800 members...
Man, I really wish y'all could see this closer like I can. Hold on. Y'all see how close all this shit is? This is right around where Duck and them be at, right about here. And then... If you know what you looking at, boy, you will see O Block right around the fucking corner. That shit's insane to me. It fucks me up every time I see it.
Approached them and begun arguing before a fight broke out, ultimately ending in a shootout. During the crossfire, a 20-year-old woman with ties to Jaro City by the name of Booby would end up being shot, later dying in hospital. Booby was apparently the girlfriend of 600 founder Lil Boo, who also died in 2015. Now, these two areas had a pretty historic and serious beef, and Bite Down from 600 would brutally mock her death on Twitter. People on Reddit would speculate on the circumstances surrounding her death, suggesting that she had indeed been killed by 800 members in the crossfire of that shootout. Fast forward to 2018, and 800 were into it with pretty much all of the blocks surrounding them. Even their alliance with 051 Young Money would collapse after 051 linked up with TYMB, ending the alliance between 800 and Young Money. 800 would have the largest grudge against one gang in particular, MOB. Pyro was clearly beloved by his hood, even being memorialized in music. One example being Boss Move's Pyro-style series of songs, all surviving gang members constantly using the phrase on Pyro. So, 800 members would reportedly be looking for their revenge on rivals from MOB, with this grudge making the gang prime suspects in one of Chicago's most infamous shootings. On the 9th of October 2018, MOB Dooski, rap name Dooski the Man, was murdered, allegedly, by 600 members. The following day, MOB members would retaliate, killing a 600 member by the name of Waldo, with intense speculation on the Chiracology subreddit that this was indeed a revenge killing. MOB likely felt at this point that they had avenged their fallen brother. However, Dooski's funeral was set to be held on October the 22nd, and this is when that funeral would be tragically shot up by numerous people with automatic rifles, leaving 6 people shot, with one being the most serious. One of these men was shot in the head, and this person turned out to be Wooski, an infamous gangster disciple from St. Lawrence and Eberhart Avenue. Many rumours would spread after the shooting, debating exactly who it was who could have been responsible, as Wooski, MOB, and the GDs from 63rd and St. Lawrence had a lot of enemies in Chicago. Many have theorised that the shooters were actually O-Block and or 600 members who would shoot up the funeral as revenge for Waldo, with King Von from O-Block himself dropping numerous songs referencing the funeral shooting, like the track Grandson for President, where he references the shooting of Wooski, rapping, "I've been killing stuff for too long, it's like I'm a veteran, Wooski got shot, now he taking medicine, but anyway, GDK." Or on the song Back Again, where he raps that he might slide to funerals and shoot up everybody outside. However, many believe that it was actually 800 that might have been behind the funeral shooting, and much like O-Block's rappers, 800 members would leave many clues in their music relating to this shooting. 800 Fats would rap in his song Do Some, "You know I'm gripping my toolie, run up on him, have him looking like Wooski, slide to the funeral and shoot us a movie." And on the track Head Tap, Fats would also rap, "Up the Glock, quick head tap, now he looking Wooski slow." However, Lil Fats may not have been involved in the actual shooting, as police recordings from the day of the incident apparently labelled all the alleged shooters as having short dreads, and other 800 members could well match this description, as has been theorised on Reddit. But regardless, it seems 800 was celebrating the shooting that happened, and shooting up this funeral is already an insane thing to do, but as dark and violence-fueled as 800's history is, nobody could have predicted the rampage that 2 of their members carried out in 2021, when in just one dark day, 4 people were shot, 3 people were killed, and the streets of Chicago were left terrified. Lil Twan, real name Antoine Montgomery, is a known shooter from 800, but it's not just the ops that should be afraid of Lil Twan, but the cops too. He's got a menacing tattoo reading CPDK, or Chicago Police Department Killer, on his left cheek, something that Redditors think may well influence a judge when he ultimately ends up getting caught. There are multiple examples of Lil Twan showcasing his wild and violent behaviour, such as in his Instagram live sessions, where he can be seen upping his gun and taunting his ops from
The nigga can hit the young thug too. Christ, passion, determination, knowledge. He gives some whole new shit. I just freestyled that, so don't take that into consideration. Don't hold me against that. It's just the example I'm trying to make. Well, example to the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
Taekwon World, saying, "Come put that switch on me."
Hey, look, come put that switch on me. Look, they in the comments.
Put that switch on me.
In the same live, he actually tells Lil Tay that he will be leaving where he is staying in downtown to go and kill him.
Look, on my Diddy, look, I'm Frank Williams, look, I'm DT right now.
So we ain't just go back out there.
I'm DT right now, look, I'm DT right now.
So why is you talking to me, bro?
I'm Frank on my Diddy, so I'm finna come that way right now. On Dressy, so I'm finna come that way right now, like I'm gonna get up with you before.
But to make things worse, Lil Tay was also known for going live in enemies' turfs, showing guns and looking for ops. His chilling final live would be recorded on 800 blocks, and shortly after it ended, he would be gunned down.
Y'all better stop playing, man. Y'all better stop playing.
Now, Lil Twan from 800 is a terrifying gangster and known for sliding with another certified demon from 800 by the name of Lil Fats. DeAndre Jennings, or Lil Fats, hails from the exact block 800 started on, 61st and Cottage Grove in Woodlawn.
Motherfuckers already been knowing me since I was a shorty type shit. Like, my face before the rap. I only been rapping in the month.
Right. So that's how it kind of crowd. You think the popularity you had, it was easy to transition after YouTube? That's how people knew who you was so fast?
No, I can't say that because, like, this was already been in play. Like, motherfuckers already was telling me to rap, but I'm on some Lil Fats don't want to rap type shit.
Right.
I'm on that.
But it wasn't until the death of Pyro in 2016 that Fats begun getting more brutal in the streets. Fats would reference how Pyro's death affected him on his song Heating Up, rapping that when Pyro died, it had him tweaking. And on the track Head Tap, he raps, "Mention Pyro name, now he dead, better claim your bro." There are many examples of Fats acting brash, crazy, and doing the unthinkable online, such as when Fats approached Taekwon World members all by himself, dissing Tuka and daring them to say F Pyro.
Say Pyro.
Come on, man, what's up?
Say Pyro.
Come on, man, slow down.
He would then turn the camera and can be heard slapping D Money. In a similar altercation, he approached members from THF
That boy was hoeing shit too? Let me pay attention.
in the courthouse and dissed their dead friends to their face, clearly trying to antagonize them. 051 Driller even shared the post, saying that he respects Fats, even though their gangs have beef.
800 Fats Gang, no, I hang, yeah.
And much like Lil Twan, Fats appears to have zero respect for the Chicago Police Department, having even recorded himself driving off on the police while toting guns, with Redditors circulating pictures of him in police chases.
Stop out for a minute, right? Stop out.
Go.
My shit not going.
Put it in.
Stick my shit.
Go, baby, go.
Fly.
In fact, Redditors have even speculated on Lil Fats being 5X or having killed 5 people, something that Fats seemingly admits himself when he was on IG Live with Lil Don from Pocket Town.
But okay then. Don't ask me that. No, I'm talking about you and me knowing you what I do to people on Kevin Grave. What I do to people. No, what you did once before on Pyro. How many funerals that it's been on Pyro? Stop that. You better slow down, baby boy.
Hey, Fazzo, you can't talk that talk with me, folks. You can't talk that talk with me, folks. We go toe to toe, folks.
You better slow your roll, baby boy.
Hey,
One of these bodies allegedly was 051.
Let me go get some. That shit that made me hungry. We're gonna get some goddamn snack. I don't know if they call this stress eating, panic eating. I don't know. Mind you, this nigga look like he about 19. The dude don't look that old, bro. I know I said I heard about this shit. I can't even say none of the information got retained. But a lot of them didn't. A lot of it didn't.
One Montana sister, 100 by the name of Lil Don from Hard for broadcasting his criminality online, regularly showing off to the world what some people believe are actual murder weapons on his Instagram story. And Lil Fats has been seen numerous times lurking in his ops blocks, armed with high-powered weapons.
I'm here on the ill, man.
Fats would even brag about robbing a diamond chain from a handicapped man and openly admitting to being a prolific chain snatcher on his song Smooth Style. Fats is also known for going live purposely to share his location and seeing if his ops pull up. In 2020, Fats would get his first alleged body, a man named Curio, from Murdertown. Murdertown, or MTG 039, is located in the Wentworth homes from 39th and Princeton to 39th and Wentworth. On January the 2nd, Fats and Lil Twan were actually set to have a meetup trading weapons with Murdertown members. Curio was present at the meetup and was said to have traded guns with Fats. However, 800 would claim that he was acting weird during the trade. Fats and Lil Twan would allegedly shoot Curio to death and steal his gun, with theories circulating on Reddit that Curio was in fact killed by Lil Twan and Fats together, as well as other rumours that Curio had actually been Murdertown's top killer with 2 bodies on Welch World's biggest op 757 at the time of his murder. Fats would even mention the murder in his song Main Slime, rapping, "Curry died, that back door open." After his death, 800 members would even post clips online rapping lyrics that appear to reference this incident.
This is we walking up on you and emptying clips where it's roof at. I'm smoking this curry, smoking good. I feel like I might go see high head. Niggas tough on the net, so they always get stressed. Now they trying to do like he not dead. If it's something that's stuck, cause I say what.
And just 2 months after the murder, Fats and 800 members would allegedly kill again in an almost identical situation. On the 10th of March 2020, members from 800 were planning to do a gun trade again, this time with a Faceworld 069 member called Bando Hothead. The trade would go through as planned, but 800 still chose to kill Bando Hothead whilst he wasn't looking, shooting him in the head, groin and back, leaving him dead at just 17 years old. And the shocking image of the aftermath of this killing was even posted to Reddit, with the police officer seeming to smile over Bando's corpse. But to make matters worse, 800 members would pose with Bando Hothead's guns very soon after the murder, and 800
It sound like these niggas invented the back door. Boy, what? Like they 2 for 2 on snakiest and slimiest. 2 for 2.
800 members even showed off the weapon in a music video for Lil Twan's track 800 Fats Home. G Gotti from 800 would go even further, allegedly posing with Bando Hothead's gun and showing the blood stains still on it. Fats himself would mention the murder in his music, like on the track Smooth Style, where he raps "Hothead in the air, I smell it." Off the back of these incidents, 800 have become infamous for turning on people. Redditors would even troll Fats, jokingly asking if he wants to trade guns, with Fats actually posting that, saying that everybody is too scared to trade guns with them now. Due to these murders, 800 now have a reputation for backdooring people or being snakes. The topic itself even becoming a running joke on Reddit, with people posting DMs that they got from people asking to trade guns with the word backdoor in their handle. It would seem that 800 were on a mission to cut ties and betray anyone, even the very few gang sets that were still cordial with them. And since Bando's murder, a war had started between 800 and 069 Faceworld, with 069 members seen riding around 800's hood looking for targets.
Hey, you a snake? Somebody tell 800 them I'm out here.
Fats would continue moving wild in the streets until later in 2020, when 800 would take a huge loss yet again, with this one being the death of their greatest talent and biggest star. On the 11th of October 2020, Boss Smooth, real name Jeremiah McCoy, was sitting in the passenger seat of a car. The car had pulled up to the Shell petrol station at the 8600 block of South State Street. This is an area that seems to be a shocking hotspot for gangland murders, as was also seen in 2023 with CCTV cameras capturing a similar shooting. But on this day, in 2020, a blue sedan would pull up next to Boss.
West shit, bro. They hopped out. What? Like it was some goddamn. I got the quickest draw this east of the fucking Mississippi ass shit, man.
Smooth opening fire, with the passengers of that car shooting him over 30 times with Draco machine guns. Boss Smooth would suffer multiple headshots, ultimately being pronounced dead in hospital. As mentioned before, Boss Smooth had released several songs and was easily the most talented and successful rapper from 800. However, his catalogue also included many disses at Ops and entire gangs, like his hugely disrespectful track 61 Dead Ops. However, Boss Smooth may well have made himself an even bigger target in 2020 when he dissed Curio, referencing the whole gun trade situation. Rapping in his track How I'm Coming remix, "It's supposed to have been a trade for a trade, he acting weird, trying to play, he effed around and got played." Fats can also be seen in that video, which had lyrics that stated, "You better not pull up on Lil Fats, if you do come correct, one slip, you ain't coming back." Boss Smooth and Fats were clearly very close, and in the aftermath of the murder, many rumours circulated as to who it was that might have killed Boss Smooth, with many people believing that it was either Murdertown or Faceworld 069. During a live session with 800 Lil Twan and KC Money from 069, it was revealed who might have actually been behind the murder. as Lil Twan would admit after arguing with Casey Money, a rapper from 069, that it was actually Mix Mob.
What you think happened to Smooth, bro? You stupid, bro. Y'all ain't had nothing to do with that. Ain't no killing without killing, bro. On Pyro, y'all ain't had nothing to do with that. So y'all saying who the killed them then, bro? Who killed them then, bro? So you claiming who killed them then, bro? I ain't claiming it, bro. I'm not shit to do with Smooth. Don't get on live. Goofy, bro. Don't get on here flies like y'all killed for Smooth on Pyro. Y'all ain't do shit to Smooth. Bro, I'm not trying to talk about no dead, no bodies, none of that, bro. It's all type of people watching. On Pyro, Mix Mob killed Smooth. On Diddy, you or Face ain't have to do with that. On Pyro.
Mix Mob members were even in the chat telling Casey Money to stop claiming the murder. Since his death, it was said that 800 Fats went crazy in the streets trying to get back for Boss Smooth. He had even been picked.
Like they do some outrageous ass shit, and then it's like they want the recognition for this shit. I just know, like, doing some shit like that to feel like you got away with the shit, that's the win. In order to feel like you got away with the shit, nobody has to mention it. Nobody can tie your name to the shit. I always thought that was the win.
Pictured with Boss Smooth's son, showing just how strong their relationship must have been. But interestingly, setting aside his savage history and reputation, one of Lil Fats' most shocking antics online may well have been his back and forth with an actual Redditor from r/Chiracology. This dispute saw both Fats and the Redditor dropping their locations and trying to meet up for a shootout, posting everything for the whole world to see. A mysterious user appeared on Reddit with the handle More Slime Than Fats, making a post on Chiracology calling out Fats from 800, saying that if 800 Fats posts his location, he will pull up and have a live shootout with him. Redditors would go on to question this user's authenticity, to which the user More Slime Than Fats would double down, claiming that he is in Chicago and very serious about catching Fats. Fats himself would even catch wind of the post, sharing it to his own Instagram and asking what is wrong with these people. More Slime Than Fats would then DM a popular Chiracology user on Instagram asking him to get in touch with Fats directly and reaffirming that he would pull up to his live in person. He would claim that his beef with Fats stems from Fats stealing a gun from his younger cousin that belonged to him that he wants back. More Slime Than Fats was also very familiar with Fats' IG live antics, as he would often go live in enemy hoods attempting to draw out his ops to kill or humiliate them.
And I'm outside with my Glock on me, on Glock 21 on me, on cap grade out. And I'ma stay on the line and wait for y'all to come and all type of shit on, we could do it. Be having all that secret ass smoking shit on mid grade, let me know something. I'm right down the street, we could do it. We could do whatever on anybody want to smoke, pull up on we could do it on Pyro.
After learning why More Slime Than Fats was after him, the real Fats actually chose to go live together with him.
What's up with it, boy? Hold on. You don't trip, hold on.
Hey, you more slime than me?
Hell yeah, where you at? I'm trying to pull up, shorty.
They would then agree on a meetup location, and Fats tells the Reddit user to pull up on 82nd and Drexel.
Well, where you trying to meet at?
Man, we can meet on 82nd and Ingleside or go on 62nd and Kimbark. I'm pulling up right now, and it's merch.
With More Slime Than Fats then confirming that he will go to the meetup, but that he is going to stay on live. Fats then calls the Reddit user the police, refusing to link up. More Slime Than Fats would then call the real Fats scared before being kicked out of the live.
So you scared?
The pair would briefly go live again, with Fats continuing to call More Slime Than Fats the police, with the Reddit user replying, F the US Marshals, showing off a Draco.
I'm saying, US Marshals, G, let's do it.
This live itself would be shared to the Chiracology subreddit, with commenters being worried that someone might be about to end up dead off the back of a Reddit post. Shortly after, 800 Fats then has a change of heart, going back on live. He would patrol the area where the two had agreed to meet up, strapped with a number of guns, seemingly ready to catch this Reddit user. As this crazy and intimidating ordeal would play out for the world, other commenters on Reddit would be in disbelief. And to the surprise of everybody, More Slime Than Fats actually confirmed in the comments that he in fact pulled up, with a link to a new post showing the exact same view that 800 Fats recorded on his live, with this post leaving Redditors in disbelief once again, as commenters would say that they couldn't believe they were about to witness a drill live. More Slime Than Fats would then post even more footage of him driving around the agreed area, allegedly just 45 minutes after Fats himself had gone live there. And in the video, you can see that More Slime Than Fats actually covers the exact route that 800 Fats did in his life. This is a crazy move considering the fact that 800 Fats is a certified killer. Then, a tweet by a Chicago Twitter page that shares reports from a police scanner would report that 19 shots had been fired in the area, with the report being just 0.4 miles away from 82nd and Drexel, where Fats and More Slime had actually agreed to meet and have their shootout. This was posted to the subreddit to the shock of all the Redditors who were following.
My bad, I ain't been saying shit, but I feel like this is one of the critical moments in just history. Instagram got so far to the point where niggas is IG live drills. Like, this is calculated shit. Like, a whole lot of back and forth and we can meet here. Like appointments. Whatever. Let's keep it
going along like some kind of live twisted reality show, with commenters in disbelief again that Reddit had seemingly baited a real-life Chicago savage into a real-life shooting. However, another Redditor would make a post debunking the speculation and confirming that this shooting may well have been just coincidental, with More Slime Than Fats hopping online to confirm that it wasn't them shooting in the comments. But some suspect that the shooting may well really have been them and that they're just denying it on Reddit to stay out of trouble. But regardless, this is one of the craziest sagas from the Chiracology subreddit in history, where a real Chirac savage was drawn out by an internet troll looking for clout into a possible shootout scenario in front of the whole world to see. But anyway, now that you know 800 Fats' body of work, it's pretty clear to see why he has become an extreme example of a crazy Chicago killer. And just months after the More Than Slime Fats ordeal, Lil Twan and Fats would end up getting into a serious real-life situation, ultimately catching one of the most infamous and violent cases that I have ever seen from a Chicago rapper. On November the 15th, 2021, 800 members Lil Fats and Lil Twan attempted a GTA-style heist on an armoured truck, something that has apparently become commonplace in Chicago over the recent years. These two allegedly carried out the robbery with two members from Slimiest Gang 079, Dewey 4, an alleged cousin of Fats, and another member called Spook. At 9 AM, Lil Fats and Lil Twan would meet up at a home in the 8700 block of South Saginaw to plan out the attack. They allegedly had said that they had a lick lined up to hit an ATM and they would be getting a lot of cash. At 10:30, they grouped with the 079 members and travelled to the Bank of America on 250 West 83rd Street. Here, they would witness a Garda armoured truck arriving to the bank, with LaShonda Harts and two male colleagues emptying ATM containers and refilling them with around $50,000 to $80,000 cash. Police would later confirm that Antoine Davis, aka Lil Twan, would jump out, attempting to grab the container, ensuing a struggle. Montgomery Jennings, aka Lil Fats, and one of the 079 members would then exit their stolen vehicle and begin to shoot at the guards. LaShonda Harts would suffer 3 gunshot wounds, later dying of her injuries. And in a tragic turn of events, it would turn out that LaShonda Harts was actually new to this job, and she had clearly been excited to be starting this role, as messages to a friend from September the 25th, 2021 were later released, where LaShonda explains just how much she was looking forward to working in her new job as an armoured guard, and thanking God for her blessings. Only 68 days after starting the job, the heist would take place, killing her at work. The other victim was shot once in the stomach and taken into hospital.
Damn, that's fucked up. That lady even wanted some money.
Initially in critical condition, but thankfully surviving. Police and prosecutors said that the robbery crew were actually unable to get the cash container from the guards during the attack, and they would flee the scene in a stolen Lincoln. Ultimately, they had failed the robbery in every way possible, and the bank's surveillance cameras would catch the attack and what the men were wearing. Shortly after, a witness was parked behind an SUV when he saw the stolen Lincoln pull up alongside the SUV. Lil Fats and Lil Twan got out of the Lincoln and entered the SUV driving away. 30 minutes later, Lil Fats and Lil Twan were seen on another CCTV camera entering a strip mall on the 6700 block of South Stony Island, just a 12-minute drive away from the bank. Here, they would rob the Boost mobile store, getting away with just a bag of mobile phones. Court documents would then show that Lil Fats and Lil Twan regrouped with the two 079 members at around 11:30 AM at the original location where they planned the attack on South Saginaw. One witness claims to have heard gunshots, followed by an Infiniti SUV crashing into a tree. Lil Fats and Lil Twan would then run into a nearby home, and whilst inside the home, prosecutors said that a witness would see the pair and other individuals passing around a duffel bag containing a rifle as they talked about hiding their guns. Lil Fats would later tell one of the people inside the home to call the police and tell them that somebody had been shot and killed in a car outside the house. This was all because 800 members had actually turned on the 079 members, shooting them dead in the SUV outside. Dewey was even allegedly Fats' cousin and had plugged his music publicly on Instagram before, eerily calling his cousin Snake Net. Continuing his streak, of backdooring people who thought they could trust 800, this time
Lil Durk, hard on ice.
This shit so fake and so snaked out there, Keith. For half a pound.
This time, Fats had taken it further, snaking his own cousin and killing him. Shortly after this, a SWAT team was called into the area, where very quickly the pair were then arrested and charged with murder, attempted murder, and armed robbery. Investigators would find the bag of mobile phones inside the crashed vehicle, and inside the home were 5 guns, clothing, shoes, and a mask, all matching witness descriptions of the robbers who stuck up the armoured truck. The guns were also covered in gunpowder residue and matched the shell casings found at the scene of the robbery. This was a wild incident and would make the news once the media had learned about this wild heist, describing it as something out of a movie and explaining the entire event.
A crime spree spanning multiple scenes that Cook County Circuit Court Judge Charles Beach said today was like something out of a movie. 19-year-old Antoine Montgomery and 20-year-old DeAndre Jennings are charged with first-degree and attempted murder and armed robbery. Chicago police say the pair shot 2 armored car guards, one of them 47-year-old LaShonda Harts, and then allegedly killed their own accomplices a short time later. In court this afternoon, the state's attorney said Jennings and Montgomery met that morning around 9 o'clock at a home in the 8700 block of South Saginaw to plot, saying they, quote, had a lick lined up to hit an ATM and would get a lot of cash. Around 10:30, the pair headed to the Bank of America at 250 West 83rd Street and saw a Garda armored truck pull in. LaShonda Harts and 2 male co-workers ages 46 and 51 got out, emptying ATM containers and refilling them with between $50,000 to $80,000. Police say Antoine Montgomery jumped out and tried to grab that container, and a struggle ensued. Montgomery, Jennings, and a third offender got out of a stolen Lincoln Town car and began firing at the guards. Harts was shot 3 times and later died at the University of Chicago Medical Center. The male guard was shot once in the stomach and was taken to the hospital in critical condition, but was later released. The encounter was caught on bank surveillance video, capturing the masked offenders and what they were wearing. About a half hour later, police say Jennings and Montgomery were seen on surveillance video entering a strip mall in the 6700 block of South Stony Island and robbing a Boost Mobile store, getting away with a bag of cell phones. Court documents show then, before 11:30, the men met back up with their accomplices, 21-year-old Naquan Harper and 27-year-old George Holmes. A witness back in the 8700 block of South Saginaw, where the offenders began plotting their crime spree that morning, heard gunshots and then saw an Infiniti SUV crash into a tree. Police say Montgomery and Jennings then ran into a home. A SWAT team was called in and arrested the two. Investigators found stolen cell phones in the Infiniti from that Boost Mobile store. In the home, they recovered 5 guns and clothing, shoes, and a mask, matching what witnesses say the men were wearing at the ATM shooting. Those items testing positive for gunshot residue, and one of the guns matching shell casings found at the bank scene.
To conclude, when it's all said and done, both Lil Fats and Lil Twan killed 3 people and seriously injured another guard, whilst likely traumatizing anybody that they bumped into along their rampage, all to achieve nothing. They left the bank empty-handed, and the phones they stole were left inside the crashed car. Both chose to crash out and will now likely spend the rest of their lives behind bars due to this failed robbery. But to make things even worse, they chose to turn on their accomplices for seemingly no reason. 2 men who they chose to bring along to the job, with this being made even more tragic when you consider the fact that Dewey 4 was just finding his feet in music and making serious waves as a drill rapper. His most popular song would even exceed 1 million views, being released after his death, and in the video, Dewey is memorialized in the most suitable Chicago drill style there is, as a cardboard cutout surrounded by masked men with pistols and extended magazines. By choosing to embark on that robbery, Lil Fats and Lil Twan essentially ruined the lives of everyone involved and murdered an innocent woman just doing her job. And if November the 15th wasn't bad enough, the fallout following their arrest would be as explosive as the incident itself.
Aftermath of the heist.
Despite being a villain in the streets and a hardened Chicago gangster, in the end Lil Fats would cooperate on the murder of LaShonda Harts, claiming that Spook was the man that killed her. Fats has been criticized by many due to him cooperating despite allegedly being a hardened killer and self-proclaimed snake. Even though Spook is now dead, Fats, who is considered one of the craziest known members, is cooperating with the police and violating the so-called street code. Lil Twan, his accomplice, has even labelled him a rat from his Instagram page, as have 800's ops from Taekwon World, labelling Fats as a snitch, a snake, and a killer all in one. Fats
fucking plot twist of the century. I was not expecting.
Telling on Spook is likely an attempt at an alibi to dodge himself being held responsible for the murder charge of LaShonda Harts. However, the two murders of Dewey 4 and Spook, as well as the armed robberies themselves, are all backed up by a mountain of evidence. With all of this meaning, it's pretty unlikely that Fats can beat these charges, whether he's informing or not. 800 Lil Twan actually took to his Instagram story 2 weeks ago, strangely claiming that the feds dropped his case as there's not enough evidence. However, this is pretty hard to believe considering how much evidence was showcased just on that news report alone. Meanwhile, Big Mike from 800 chimed in, labeling both Lil Twan and Fats as rats, and claiming that both of them are no longer in the gang 800. Whilst awaiting his trial, 800 Lil Fats has had his fair share of altercations in jail, with one even being seen in prison guard body cam footage where Lil Fats is released into his cell, where he then jumps at his cellmate, attacking him, then elbowing another prison guard in the nose.
Stop. Hey, man, watch your elbow. Watch your elbow. What are you doing? Watch your elbow. Handcuff.
Damn, man. Relax.
I'm saying, why would he do that in front of the police?
I'm not. Just try elbowing one of my officers, man. Relax. You got me on my nose.
Relax.
I take my wrist, man.
Relax. Relax. We're not even applying pressure. Relax.
Look, man, my left wrist, man, on my son, man. I can't feel it. I'm not resisting, man. On my son, I can't feel my hand. My hand is burning.
You got control of your wrist. We're escorting you. Like I said, you became combative. You struck one of my officers. I need you to relax. All right?
Look, man, I got walk slowly, man.
We are walking slow, sir, and we're taking the elevator. You're not even taking the stairs, so relax.
You got to say that final?
Hold it in the row one time, go pound 5.
Sergeant Abrowski, star number 3307. Today's date's May 4th. It's 2:05 a.m. At the detainee.
Jimmy.
First name? ID number?
202-111-8091.
So you attacked the guy in the cell?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we was into it. That's why I took off running when they let me out the handcuffs.
Detainee was cleared medically by Nurse Lorenz. Detainee is awaiting new housing. This concludes interview with detainee Jennings.
I need medical attention.
It's been reported by popular Instagram page Squid Ape that Lil Fats was beaten up in jail by one of the family members of the victims killed in the robbery. Lil Twan would also share that he was attacked by ops in the jail too, with Fats replying saying that he was paid $150 to say this, as well as other posts circulating appearing to claim that Fats was beaten up in jail himself. Unfortunately, it may be years before we find out what punishment, if any, will be dished out for this heinous heist turned murder spree. The only thing that is certain is that 3 lives were lost that day, and if the feds can prove it, Fats and Twan will likely spend the rest of their lives behind a prison door, leaving behind their families and their loved ones. It just goes to show you that, as usual, the streets are a dead end. Whether it's gangbanging or robbing, these kinds of activities can only lead to a grave or prison. I hope that the next generation...
Man, that shit is... hold on. Hey. That shit's probably the most craziest shit ever. Like I said earlier in this motherfucker, I feel like these boys invented the back door. I don't know, man. It's just they shit was doomed from the start. They shit was doomed from the start. When they start doing backdoor moves and shit, that shit goes around. That word goes around, man. And also that karma. You get what you give. You get what you give, nigga. So, and I don't want to, say jail's, which jail on the motherfucker, but it's like jail's their best option for what outcome they was gonna have. Jail's their best option, cause you just don't snake out people and expect not a motherfucker to want to do nothing to you. I'm talking about that level of snake shit where it's a straight up trade for trading. End up killing people, or goddamn, you snaked out the motherfuckers you brought in on some shit. Like, what the fuck? It's y'all. That was probably the plan from the get go. If you really think about it, these niggas ain't too straight up, too straight up. You know, it remind me of that T Grizzly shit. Juan and Twan, I think. But anyway, let me know how y'all feel about this down in the comment section. It's your boy Snor. I'm gone.